Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cool JDM show. I am your host, Derek Weldon, and this is not me.
This is me, your other host, Mike Dennis.
I'm the owner of the company, Pacific Coast Auto, and Mike here is the sales manager. We also have a behind-the-scenes type of guy.
Hello.
And he has a microphone this time.
Yes.
This is our second show ever, and so we are excited to bring you all of the stuff. What are we going to be looking at today? We have a What's Going On in PCA segment. It's going to be fun and interesting. Right, Mike?
It sure is, and that's happening right now. The fun and interestingness has begun.
We have interesting industry topics. We're going to talk about buying a car in Japan and actually driving it here. This is something that we get asked a lot of times in emails, and so I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see and hear the answer for that. Next, we're going to go over some dealer cars that are available for purchase here in Japan, as well as some auction picks. When we go over the dealer cars, Mike's going to try to sell me on a car.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to succeed. I think I have a, what's that thing? What's the thing called when you're like, it's going to happen. You're going to do it all in one. I don't know. It's a sure thing. It's going to happen.
I know what car it is, but I've intentionally not listened to any of the sales points for that. And so we'll take a look at that. And then I'm going to try to sell Mike on a car. And I think mine is a bit of a harder sell than yours is.
I think so too. And I also don't know anything about it other than it looks like it'll be trouble.
Okay, we're also going to be doing a Q&A. That's the meat and potatoes of the show. And so if you do have questions for us, these questions can be personal questions, extremely personal questions if they're for Mike, and semi-personal questions for me or Max. They can also be questions about buying cars from Japan, the auctions, exporting, what color of underwear that you're wearing right now. Mine's gray.
Mine's black.
Black.
Great.
Nice to have that mic, isn't it, Max?
Glad we got that out of the way early. This is also a live office. It's 11 a.m. in Japan right now. We are working. It's Wednesday. It's a normal work day. So if there's people coming and going or if there's a little bit of background noise, I'm sorry, but we are trying to buy cars for you. So,
or if you want to call us right now,
don't do that.
You can actually hear the phone ringing in the
do
background of the live cast.
Not a good idea.
You can talk to Grant, and if you ask for Mike, he'll just leave.
No, Grant's busy trying to win your cars. So
here's Mike. Here's Mike saying that if a customer calls me, I'm just going to ignore it.
No, right now I'm right here. Also, Rodney said TMI. I'm assuming that's about the underwear thing. So yeah. Sorry, Rodney.
I don't know what TMI stands for.
Too much information.
I find that many people these days are creating their own acronyms for everything that they're too lazy to type out. Sorry, I'm throwing you under the bus, whoever that was.
Yeah, especially once you told him something he didn't want to know. Cut the guy some slack.
Rodney, I don't understand what you're trying to type. I am too millennial for that.
Okay, let's go. What are we doing? Things that happened at PCA.
So jumping right into it, things that happened at PCA, also known as This Week at PCA. Take a look. We've got a nice little thing. This is an upgrade from last show. You can be guaranteed that each time that we do one of these shows, we're going to be bringing our bigger game and upgrading it.
Sure are.
Just like this microphone.
We're trying to sell ourselves. Last time that we did this show, we had a maximum of 19 concurrent viewers. I don't know what happened. It said 20 viewers max at the same time, and then it got downgraded by the next day to 19. So YouTube was like, one of those guys was fake.
Someone canceled their account. They were like, that was so bad. I'm out. I'm out of YouTube.
Oh, guys, speaking about technical stuff, we might run out of battery on the camera during the stream.
Right. We're doing a new camera. So last time the last camera could only do 720p. This new camera can do 1080. Is that right?
Or even 4K if we wanted to.
4K to a live stream.
Yeah.
Wow. Are we in 4K or 1080?
1080.
We are in crystal clear 1080 right now. Say that in a sexy voice.
We're in crystal clear 1080p right now.
Okay. And so don't forget to put your questions in. We didn't ask for questions ahead of time, so we don't have any pre-prepped. And so put your question in there, even if you're not going to be sticking around to 30 minutes from now when we do the question section. Write that in. You can watch the broadcast, not the broadcast, the
Cool JDM show will be up live on YouTube. It's live now. It will be up on YouTube later for you to watch too.
Not live. I can't do the sexy voice as much as I try. I just don't have the chest capacity.
Join my program.
For it.
We're also not going to be fidgeting with our pens. That was a problem last time. We still have cool cups. That was not a problem
I
last time.
have a pen over here, so if anyone in the comments wants me to fidget, I can do it. But we asked for feedback from the last episode, and people said the mic is one. So Max needs to have a mic. We fixed that.
Woohoo!
Somebody said you guys are idiots and fidgeting too much. And we had one person say you had merch cups, but you actually don't sell the merch cups.
We don't.
We threw them out.
But you
After
could
the show.
buy a used cup from us if you're so inclined. Highest bid will win. We'll auction them later.
Okay, one thing before we jump into the news topics, or this could be part of the news, so let's just start the news.
Wait, news or this week at PCA?
Is that what it's... No, this week at PCA we already finished.
Really?
Yeah, we're basically done.
We'll figure out the names of the segments later on, but for now, enjoy.
So, industry topics and news.
News.
Are we live?
Still,
Yeah, cool animation.
Love it. Okay, first one. Somebody was like, wow, you guys have a BB open deck. You actually have 2 of them. Have you ever seen the commercial from Japan? And I was ashamed to say that I had never seen that commercial. Have you seen the commercial, Mike?
I have not. This will be my first time.
And okay, so I watched it to make sure that it was good enough for the live stream. And it's weird. Mike hasn't watched it. And so keep an eye on Mike's eyes to make sure he's reacting appropriately.
My first reaction is I thought that said Japanese cream in the bottom right-hand corner, and it doesn't. It says Japanese car CM. I don't know what that stands for, but...
CM is commercial. It's the Japanese word for commercial.
Can we watch? Are we
Yes,
ready? Let's watch. So this is the
Oh,
BB commercial.
Hold on, don't play it yet. I'd like to announce to everyone that we have 19 concurrent viewers right now. That is our record. And so if you guys stay around, you might be able to see that go up to 20 or maybe even 21 by the end of the show. I did have an idea, and you guys tell me if you think this is a good idea. We were talking about how our race car's number of 88 is a little bit racist nowadays, and so we're thinking about changing the number, and I was thinking we could change it to 19 to commemorate the amount of viewers that we had on our very first live stream, or our very first cool JDM show.
Right.
You think it's a good idea? Let us know in the comments. Let's go to the commercial.
20.
I hope you will get audio as the viewer.
Okay, maybe write in chat if you can't hear anything.
Okay, let's go.
We don't have audio, right?
Nix presents.
It's so PlayStation 1. Okay. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I don't understand the Golden Mermaid people, but... Also, why do they have surfboards? If they're mermaids don't need surfboards. That is...
And
Wow.
there you have it.
I would probably run down to Toyota and buy one of those if I saw that commercial.
So you got to remember that this commercial came out in 2004, so it may be a little bit dated. The quality of it is a little bit bad, obviously.
So the water thing, are they... There's a lot going on there.
If we do this, I'll spend so much time on the effects.
Right, so somebody was like, can you recreate this? And I'm like, as much as I love dressing up as a golden mermaid, I think this is a lot of effort for a very small payoff. If it were a commercial that more people knew about, maybe it would be fine to recreate it, but it's, yeah.
What if we recreated it but added our own artistic flair?
We made it crappy, is what you're saying.
Or better.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. If this has made you want to buy a Toyota BB open deck, they are going to be legal for the USA come July of this year. You can buy one. Don't boost up the prices, though. I kind of want to buy a third one.
So
do it quick.
Maybe buy, but maybe don't buy.
Industry topics. We want to go over last week's question. There's a little bit more information that we wanted to share about something.
That's for me, right? For shipping?
Right.
So last week I mentioned that if you were to buy a car now for Canada, somebody asked about shipping to Canada. They said if I were to buy a car now, when could I expect it to arrive in Canada? And I gave an estimate of, I think, mid to late April. We have got a ton of shipping spaces in the first part of this year, and it is really good news. At the moment, we only have 5 or 10 cars that are waiting to ship to Canada. Before, at the worst point of the backlog, we had over 100. So at the moment, it's looking very good. We don't know how long it's going to continue, but at the moment, the shipping situation looks A-okay. If you were to buy a car now, it would be either on the next vessel or the vessel after that. Again, we don't know how many spaces we'll get on the next vessel, but most likely you're looking at end of this month or early next month as an estimate. Could be a little bit later than that depending on how long from now you buy the car, but consider it about normal shipping time. I think we're back to normal, which I don't know if you know that yet, but
I saw the invoice put on my desk yesterday for a vessel that's leaving in 2 or 3 days now.
right. So we also got a ton of spaces on NYK too.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, lots.
Good to hear.
Yeah. So
NYK a little bit more expensive, but still worth shipping from them.
Right. So if I know there are a lot of people out there who have been kind of wanting to buy a car, but they're not sure, and we keep warning you about how long it takes for shipping. So if you're one of those people and you're still interested in buying a car, now's a pretty good time. Again, difficult to predict in the long term, but for now, things are looking very good. So I'm more confident about shipping.
Do you want to say back to normal in a sexy voice?
Back to normal.
I just watched you fiddle with the little machine that you got there. Were you giving him some reverb?
Yes.
Okay, before you put reverb on, you have to let us know.
No.
Because you speak differently when there's reverb.
Do I?
I don't know.
Reverb. No,
No,
there's
it's
no
not.
reverb. We just
I just
talked
saw you
about that.
twiddling your little dials like somebody who's a professional.
Max
Look at
has
me,
a
I'm a
book set
sound engineer and a video editor and a producer and a script writer. Max has many hats, except he's not wearing a hat today.
No.
He's got the headphones.
Yeah.
Max, can you hear your own voice in the headphones?
Yeah, it's really difficult to speak.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm thinking we can't hear any of the sound effects, and we couldn't hear the BB
commercial, which I bet was fantastic.
If we had headset, then we could, but then we'd have to hear our own voices speaking.
Yeah, I don't.
And you know I don't want to hear that.
I'm all right.
Yeah, kind of weird. It's pretty common in podcasts or cool shows to do that.
Sure is. This is a cooler version of the show.
Okay, this is
What's
going to take
next?
up a bunch of time, this next one. And I hope that phone that's ringing right now is one of our viewers. Hopefully they're calling in.
Stop encouraging people to do that. It's not a good idea.
Just to be like, hey, can I talk to Mike? And Mike can be like, nope, I ain't talking to nobody.
Not right now.
You should see Grant's face.
What a great thing to put on our live show. All of you viewers watching right now, you should see Grant's face, which you can't see right now at all.
Hang on. Are you saying that what Max is saying is not a good idea because you're asking people to call in?
I
You think it would
just
be fun,
because
and
I'm
I do
doing
too.
bad ideas doesn't mean I can't criticize other people's bad ideas. Okay, industry topic. This is a big one. Can you buy a car in Japan and then come here on a holiday and drive that car around Japan and then ship the car off to you? This is something a lot of people are interested in, and I don't blame them because it is very appealing sounding, because who doesn't want to do that? Coming to Japan is very popular at the moment because the yen is very weak.
Mm-hmm.
Japan's a country that a lot of people want to come to, and especially people who buy cars from Japan are interested in Japanese culture. So it fits together really nicely.
Yep.
So Mike, can you do it? Simple 1 or 2 word answer, and then we'll get into the details after that.
1 word answer, yes.
2 word answer, no.
Fair. We'll get into it. I have to say before we start, this is something that I wanted to do, and I would have been willing to pay to do that because it's expensive, but it's really cool. I think the idea that a lot of people have, and I had too, is you want to buy a dream car or a car that you've loved for many years. You want to buy that in Japan, and then you want to make memories with that car, drive it around, visit places that you've wanted to visit. And then also, I think the key to this whole thing is then you want to take it back with you as this precious car that also you built all those memories with. And it's like a dream for many people.
And recently there have been a lot of YouTubers that have been doing just this because it's fantastic content. If you're in the car space, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Come to Japan, drive your car around, grab all that content, and then leave. And millions of people have been watching these videos and then dreaming about doing it themselves, hence why we always get asked about it.
Right.
So, could you do that from PCA? The answer is no. Is it possible to do it? Yes, but there's a big fat asterisk on that.
What is that big fat asterisk?
So, okay, so this is a little bit complicated and convoluted, so you have to stay with me for a little bit here. Most of the YouTubers that are doing it in a highly risky, borderline illegal way of doing this. I'm not going to call out any names, but almost all of the YouTubers are doing it that way. There is a way to do it that is the proper way of doing it, but there are very few companies here in Japan that can do that, and I will tell you the name of one company that is popular for doing that. You might already know what it is. The name of that company is Top Rank. Okay, so do you know who Top Rank has done that with? Adam LZ did it. TJ Hunt.
I think Dustin Williams as well.
Dustin Williams, yeah.
And the
Chen.
camera guy. Yeah, Larry
Chen.
Chen famously, because he bought that like over $100,000 Skyline GTR.
Right.
Went to Top Rank. They're also restoring it, and he spent, I think, another $100,000 on the car.
Something, it's, big
Yikes.
money.
And he can drive his car in Japan. So Top Rank allows you to do that. So let's dial back and let you know the way that YouTubers are doing it for the most part, because it's cheaper. The Top Rank way, very expensive. We'll get into details on that in a second.
Right.
The way that most people are doing it, and the borderline illegal way of doing it, is you go to the auction, you find the car that you want to buy, you buy a car that already has a license plate on it,
and shuck in, right? So it's legal to drive in Japan.
and then the person that you bought it from is like, go ahead and drive the car, but be careful.
Right. Why would I? Okay, I'll be the person buying the car and you be the dealer. So why should I be careful? I just bought this car. It's my car, right?
When you buy the car and you buy it on that already has registration on it, then you get a grace period before you have to change the registration over to your name. And so this grace period doesn't really have an expiration, but the auction will certainly get mad at you if you don't convert it over. Right. You're basically driving the car on the last owner's registration, meaning their plate, their identity is on it. And if you were to do something like do speeding, get a ticket for speeding, like speeding camera or something like that, get in an accident or something, and you were to, for example, try to run away from Japan, because who wouldn't do that, right?
Right.
Not me, of course, but I could absolutely see that happening. I'm in Japan. Laws don't affect me. I'm going to go speed in my GTR that I just bought from auction. I'm going to go do some street racing.
Oops,
then
I did
leave
something
Japan.
Stupid. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the previous owner is like, you guys, I just got a ticket for $800 for somebody driving my car after I sold it. And that person is going to go to the dealer that they traded it into. The dealer is going to be like, WTF. Go to the auction. The auction is going to be like, WTF. And then we'll know who bought that car. And so they'll contact them and say, you just got everyone into a lot of trouble because you allowed a YouTuber to drive a car in Japan when it wasn't really legal. They could punish them by taking the auction license away if they thought that that was something they wanted to do. But it's one of those things where you don't want to mess around just to find out.
Right. I think the point there is that the auction will contact the person who bought the car. That has to be a registered dealer like us. So we have a license to buy cars from auction. The auction will talk to that person and say, it's a breach of their rules to drive the car on somebody else's license plate. So whatever punishment happens to the person who bought the car. In this case, the equivalent of us, the other company that bought that car. And the auction loves to threaten a way to take away licenses. If you lose your auction license, that means you can't buy cars at auction anymore.
Or they might give you a penalty for like so-and-so amount of months you can't buy cars. And then could you imagine, we had customers. We've got over 200 registered customers at the moment, and we had to tell them all for the next 3 months, you guys can't do business with us. You'll lose a good portion of your customers, even the ones that feel like they can trust you. So it would be lights out for the company, I would think.
Yeah. I think a lot of companies that are doing this are maybe smaller. Maybe they're it's not their only thing that they're doing.
So
I
there
don't
is
know. Who
okay.
knows?
So next stage, maybe the dealer buys the car and then changes the registration into their name. This is a possible thing, but it takes at least 2 weeks to do. Requires a whole bunch of hoops to jump through, and then it's still not technically legal. What you would be doing at this point is driving the car under the car exporter / dealer's registration, which is somewhat better because
Right.
the auction's never going to come into play if there is some sort of a trouble, but the exporter is now going to be liable. So if there is a speeding ticket, the exporter is going to have to deal with that, which again is still quite risky, even though it's a little bit less risky. The downside and the reason why we don't see that being done so often is because it does take those 2 weeks, which means you can't land in Japan, buy the car, and then drive it immediately.
Right.
Your vacation might already be over by the end of those 2 weeks.
Right. It would have to be done in advance.
Yeah. And Japan's very strict. So if you do want to register a car under your name, you can't do that.
Why not?
Because
Can you elaborate? Well, you need to have a parking spot, and to have a parking spot, you need to be a
resident.
because the parking spot that you get for your car has to be within, was it a kilometer?
2 kilometers.
of your residence.
I was wondering because as a non-resident, you could buy a home with a parking spot. But then
That's
you would
true.
still not be resident, have a registered stamp and stuff.
Could you imagine someone
Yeah,
who's like, I'm
true.
going to buy a home just so I can drive a car in Japan?
Right. Actually, you raise a good point, and like this is something that if you've lived in Japan or you've researched Japan or you've heard people talk about Japan, Japan has a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of interlinked steps to things. So Max just said you can buy a property as a foreigner, which is true. You don't have to be a resident of Japan to buy property. That means you could rent a parking spot as well. The only thing is, to register a car in your own name, you need to have an income, which is like a personal stamp. That stamp has to be registered to your name. You can only do that if you are a resident of Japan. Otherwise, when you went to the city office to register your little stamp, they would say, who do we register this to? You are not here. You're a tourist. So,
Right.
Yeah.
so that is another way it would block you from going down that avenue.
Right. Okay, so difficult to get this done. The one way that is legal, and it is completely legal, this is the one that Top Rank will set up for you. You need to bring this if you want to do it.
Like briefcases full.
Top Rank is registered, and they did this on purpose for this reason. They're registered as a car rental company
In addition to being a car dealer.
in addition to being a car dealer. So they can buy the cars at auction for you. You still can't land in Japan, find the car, buy it, and then drive it unless you've got the 2 weeks. You still need that.
Right.
Because Top Rank still needs to go through the process of registering the car, which takes 2 weeks. But they will essentially still own the car and rent it to you so that you can drive in Japan, which is perfectly legal to do. There needs to be a rental contract, and the company, like Top Rank, needs to be registered as a car rental company. I don't know the exact cost of doing this because I believe it depends on the car itself, because you still need to register it, and there will be a cost to register it because you still have to put it through a safety inspection, make sure everything is fixed, yada, yada, yada. Once you've done that, Top Rank will give you a price. By the sounds of it, and I got this information from Max, so tell me if I'm wrong about this, Max.
Yep.
Larry Chen said it's approximately $6,000.
That is correct.
Okay, so $6,000 is about $1,000,000 yen. And to somebody who's got deep pockets, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great thing that they offer as a service. So go to them if you've got another $1,000,000 yen. You do have to decide if you want to spend that $1,000,000 yen on driving the car in Japan or getting a better car. So depends on where your priorities lie.
Yeah, the alternative to all of this would be to just rent. For example, if you have your heart set on buying an R34 GTR and you want to drive that in Japan, your alternative is to rent an R34 GTR. It's not your car, it's not the same car that you're going to be exporting, but it's going to be a heck of a lot cheaper.
And there's a company, if you want to come to Japan and drive around in Japan, I highly, highly recommend that you do it. There's a company called Omoshiro Car. I don't know. You'll find Omocar,
something like that.
I think is the...
They're easy to find.
Yeah, and they do car rentals of all sorts of cars, from 40, 50-year-old cars all the way up to modern cars. You can find something that you like. A lot of the older cars aren't terribly expensive to rent. Of course, because they are specialty cars, they're going to be more expensive than a typical rental car. But driving in Japan gives you all sorts of options that you can't get to by train. And you can see the areas of Japan that are outside of the tourist areas. So it feels maybe a little bit more authentic.
Yeah. I will say, just on that note of the rental car, I did that my first trip to Japan. I rented an R34 GTR from a Moshiro rental car. Driving in Japan is quite difficult. I think you need to plan a lot more than I did. I come from New Zealand, which is a very small country. We don't have paid highways or toll roads or anything.
You don't have paved highways?
Paid, as in you have to pay money. So,
God, is it expensive to take the highways here?
I spent over $100 my first day on tolls, just because the GPS kept saying get off and then get on, and
highways are hard to navigate here because a lot of the highways through Tokyo are in tunnels and the GPS doesn't work. So you'll see the sign come up and you've got 7 seconds to make the decision of which way to turn, and you're like, my Navi doesn't work, where do I go?
Right.
And it's like a labyrinth.
Japanese. So
they're in Japanese and English, but it doesn't necessarily make sense. The sign will say toward Ikebukuro, and you're like, is that the direction I'm going?
Or like the Joban Expressway E73 or something, and then you're like, that might be me. I don't know.
By the way, so we drive to the port to go see cars, and if you don't have the special pass, like the card, ETC card, to go on the highways, this costs us 1,950 yen to go there and 1,950 yen to come back. That's about $12 and each way is only 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, this is a very expensive highway that we have to take to go to the port because it's an artery road. That's a lot of money.
Yep. Gets real expensive when you keep getting on and off the highway without the toll card too. Let me tell you that.
Mike doesn't have a toll card yet.
I still don't have a toll card, so I make sure not to get off when I'm on.
As a tourist, can you get an ETC? You can do from a rental car company, right? They'll set you up with one.
Yeah.
Get that. This is your information.
I don't think a Moshiro rental does that. I thought they did, and I got into trouble because I went through the ETC gate, and then I had an angry Japanese man yelling at me, and I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know, I have cash, will you take my money? And he's like, yeah, but you're in the wrong place, so whoops. Sorry, Max, I cut you off.
One thing I did want to add to the renting a car from Top Rank, the $6,000 is if you drive it one day or 365 days.
Yeah. So my understanding is they just keep it registered for you.
Yeah.
And then if you come to Japan, you can drive it. So if you want to spend 2 months here, you just drive your own car for 2 months, but you're paying every year.
And you're also paying storage for when they're storing their car here.
Yeah.
And we don't know how much they charge for storage, right?
I don't know if it's included in the 6,000.
It wouldn't be because the length of time that you store it would be different depending on how long that it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's an expensive thing to do, but it's
YouTubers have lots of money.
Way. Yeah, and it's also the safer way for insurance stuff. And,
that's right.
You know, if you get yourself into trouble, at least you know you're covered.
So there you have it from the cool JDM show, the inside details on how to drive a car in Japan.
Hopefully
Did you like that segment?
I liked it.
Okay, how are we doing for time? We're actually doing pretty good, aren't we? We have 2 more minutes for this segment, and that means that we're doing pretty well.
Cool.
So next segment, are you ready for the graphics? Yeah. Did you put them up yet?
Wait, no.
Can you give me some reverb?
Wait, okay. Who wants to do the naming?
I'll do
Sexy
it.
voice,
I'll do
Mike?
It. Yeah.
Okay.
And now it's time for Mike tries to sell Derek on a car, and Derek tries to sell Mike on a car. Damn, I was trying to make sure.
It wasn't sexy enough.
Wasn't it? It was too fast, wasn't it?
Anyway, yeah, and too low. It's almost like you were afraid to say it.
I didn't have anything planned, so
you can read off the.
No, we're like down here.
We are, yes.
Auction dealer picks.
So you want to go first? I think I should go first because I feel like your car that you're going to sell me is such a great car that people are going to leave after that thinking nothing can get better than this. They'll be like, I've already seen the best. I've already done my thing. I'm out of here.
I see. So we're breadcrumbing our lovely viewers. No, you should definitely stick around for what I'm planning to sell you.
So have I got a deal for you? Are you ready to buy a car, Mike?
I am actually. I'm looking to buy a car.
Do you have money in your pocket?
No,
you probably have
everything's digital nowadays.
About $6,000 in your pocket. Because if you do, I've got the perfect car for you.
Okay, I do.
That costs about $6,000.
Okay, that's a good price.
So let's bring it up on the screen here for everybody.
You can do it yourself with the mouse.
I'll do it myself. Is it this one?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, if it's not, it's a huge spoiler alert. Click it. Let's see. Do it.
By the way, if anyone's watching right now, one of you 37 viewers, which was 39 just a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
That's okay. Those two
You can
people-
buy this car. Okay?
That's
Through
true.
us.
Okay.
This is
so-
basically us selling to you.
Right. So this segment last week was us showing you cool cars that were available to buy in Japan. This week we did a little bit of a different take on it where we'll try to sell each other a car. But these cars are for sale in Japan. So we can help buy them if you want them.
First car.
Click it.
Ready for this?
Oh, okay.
We have here, I don't know the year because the seller actually doesn't say the year. For whatever reason, they call this a 2026.
It's
And
not
so
a
I don't know. That seems like a
2026.
typo. But they made these from 1975 to 1978. This is a Honda TN360. It has an air-cooled 360cc engine. And I think I got a note here for how much power it puts out.
550cc.
Oh, it must have had an engine swap. Because the 360 in the name, TN360,
Oh, right. Oh, yeah,
is
you're
for the
right.
360cc, which I'm not surprised that it blew. But they also had an air-cooled 550.
You're selling me on this thing, right? Okay. Original engine blows, but it's got the good one.
I know you like horsepower. This one is
Okay.
27 horsepower,
All 27.
regularly with the 360. Now that this one has the 550, you're probably up to about 35 horsepower.
Where
But
do I sign? Let's go.
Don't make this so easy on me.
Okay.
Before you say yes to this, 550 kilograms. Okay.
Whoa. Wait. Oh, no. I was going to say power to weight ratio of 1-to-1, but I've realized that was displacement to weight ratio, which is kind of weird.
It is weird, but it's what other cars would have displacement to weight ratio like that? I don't know. I can't think of one on the spot. But this is, this is Honda's first K-Truck, and this is the third generation of the K-Truck. And what makes this special is it is not a body-on-frame like all K-Trucks are now.
Oh.
This is a unibody, so if you get into an accident, you're screwed,
Oh.
which might sound like a bad thing, but hear me out. Wait a minute. Hear me out.
Right.
Okay? The fact that these are unibodies, and they probably can't be repaired if they're in an accident very easily. And because they were cheap utilitarian vehicles when they came out, means there are almost none of them existing at this point anymore because they've had 50 years to get into car accidents or rust away, and they weren't the type of vehicle that you would typically save. Like a Skyline GTR, everyone knew to save those.
Right.
Nobody's like, oh, this utilitarian vehicle that people find disposable and only worth 15 years has kept around for 50 years.
I'll just get a new version because there's no point repairing this one. So you're saying that this one has likely not had an accident, or at least not a major one. Mm-hmm. And
you'll
you're
be
getting a
the
piece of
only
history.
person, almost the only person on the planet who drives this around.
Not me. I can't fit in that car. I think that's your sales is going to be a real struggle to get my knees in there.
Okay, no crash support in the front, and so you probably have room for your legs. But if you do get in a car accident, you'll have no more legs after that.
Okay.
Which is,
My legs are the crumple
I got to find a
zone.
way to spin this. Having legs are overrated, Mike.
No.
Wheelchairs are pretty dope. You can get those like glowing wheels for them.
then
So
I
when
need
you
to get like
and then they light up, it's cool.
This is also a million yen. This is very expensive for a K truck. Can you go back to the front photo?
I
I'd like to
don't
mention
think
something.
it's that expensive considering how rare something like this would be.
Okay, but so I want to say that front. It looks like AI generated picture when they don't get the
absolutely
headlights
does.
right, and they're like, "Oh, cars have 2 stacked headlights or 4." That's what that looks like.
And look, the markers look like eyebrows, right?
Yeah, but surprised eyebrow face.
And it's I love the 4 headlights, and I checked out Wikipedia beforehand looking for sales points,
Yeah.
Apparently this is the first ever truck that had 4 headlights.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So if you're trying to impress a date and you're like, look,
at my
I know
phone.
how much you love headlights, and I love them too.
wait, this is a euphemism, right?
No.
Nice headlights. Have a look at mine.
It's on original wheels. And if you're not sold already, I've got a piece of information that's fantastic. Max, you probably don't know about this.
I don't know anything.
1978 was the first year of the John Players Classic Lotus F1 car. You guys aware of that?
No.
This is the most famous F1 livery. Let me just air keyboard this. I'm going to show you guys. How come I can't? My mouse.
If you're gonna air keyboard. Yeah.
You ready for this? Okay. J, P, S, space, Lotus. Enter.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, the black and gold. Oh,
It's
I
actually
saw
a
an
very dark
Elise.
green.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
This is the most famous, and I looked this up just to confirm because I thought it's the most famous livery on any F1 car, and it is. During the time that Lotus was commissioning this, they were also using the Honda TN360 as a parts transport vehicle everywhere in the world. They brought these
That's
Honda
weird.
cars. I think this car has a Honda engine, and I think that's the connection.
There's some kind of
But I think
collaboration.
Honda was like, y'all can have these little K trucks. Back in the 70s, before Honda was a big thing, and we got to remember this was an emerging market for Honda. They were like, hey, buy our stuff. People didn't know to trust them.
Right.
And then they see these little K trucks, and we'll show you a picture of this. I'll air keyboard that too.
Wait. Yeah, keyboard.
You can find pictures of, just put in JPS TN360. And they thanks.
Yeah, I got you.
They shared the same livery as the Lotus car.
Oh, so cool.
That's so cool.
And you can see, this is just a model, but let me scroll down. Give me the mouse. I think this might be a replica, but this one's a real picture of it. And it has the same gold stripes and green. How cool would it be to buy this one, repaint it exactly like this, and then buy some F1 tires and put them in the back, and that can just be how you ride around at all times.
Hang on a second. Can you go back to the Goonet listing? I have an idea. I have a crazy idea.
I'll do that with my mouse.
That color looks quite similar to the color of your Lotus.
No, it doesn't. My Lotus is Old English white. It's a very different color.
It's pretty close.
Wait, are you trying to back sell me on this?
No, I'm trying to help you sell your Lotus and do a package deal. You could
That would be so
paint
badass,
this
actually.
TN360 in the same color, Old English white, and then
Put on the
you could sell both.
pinstripes.
Yeah, put on the pinstripes, do the little livery.
Put an F1 tire in the back.
Yeah.
All right.
And you could have, for people who knew, that would be like the premier Lotus man dream, right?
It is cool. But still, I think it would look better if it was in the livery, because
I do
some
too.
people out there, like 6 people in the world, would see that and be like, oh my God, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Only people over 55 years old would know that, though.
Yeah.
Or people who watch this stream.
Ooh.
Yep, 32 more of them add to the 50, or the, 6 or 7 people? Okay.
Oh, good comment.
Did I do a good enough job selling that to you?
I'm not buying it.
Okay.
I think it's cool, and I like the history lesson. I think if that was in the Lotus livery, it's very expensive. Like you're paying the rarity cost for something
absolutely.
like this. Max is saying we got to push on with time. So Derek,
We have another 2 minutes for you to sell if we keep our schedule.
2 minutes for me to sell?
Yeah. So I went over a
I
little
have
bit.
something very special to sell. Okay, hit me. Let's go.
We'll also have to cut the auction cars that we had picked out,
Yeah,
because
that's
neither
fine.
of them are super fantastic.
Okay.
They're good though, Grant. I know you're going to watch this when you get home. They're good picks, Grant.
We're sorry.
They're not super fantastic.
Next week, do better.
I talked too much. This is my fault. Go ahead. What do you got for me?
Okay, yeah. Close that K truck. It is sweet, but this is sweeter.
I shouldn't have been drinking when you clicked that.
I have, Derek,
Yes.
do you have 9.8 million yen in your pocket?
How much
That's
is that in
burning
US
a
dollars?
hole? 60,000 US
More than that.
dollars? 70?
I think it's just below 70, like 68,000 US dollars. Do I have 68,000 US dollars? Yes.
$62,000. And it's burning
Do
a
I
hole
have
in your pocket. And you're like,
62,000 US dollars for a car at this moment?
anyway,
No.
I'm selling you here. You're gonna want to find that $62,000 because what I have for you here
What is it?
is a completely custom AE86.
Mm-hmm.
Now it has, you can see there on the pictures, it has a Pandem wide body, very wide.
You
Very,
picked a car
very
you
wide.
knew that I absolutely love.
This just came across my desk. You're the only person I'm trying to sell this car to, and everyone watching. But it's dope. I know you love 8.6s. This has something special. Max, if we could go through the pictures, it'll be on the second set of pictures down there. Oh wait, can I have the mouse?
But the first, yeah, you can take the mouse.
Take the mouse.
The exhausts are the first giveaway.
That's okay, true. We'll
So
we'll-
usually dual exhaust like that. Not always, but usually dual exhaust.
quad. Exhausts.
Exhaust that comes out in two corners. Has to do with the amount of banks in the engine. How
You
many
are
cylinder
correct.
banks you have.
So did this car come with a single exit exhaust?
Yes.
And now it has 4 exits.
That's 4 times the exhaust.
Yeah. The engine's not quite 4 times the size. However, how do I operate this thing?
Max
I can
zoomed
just-
in and he kind of ruined everything by zooming in.
Whoa!
I can just click through it. if
No.
you want.
Okay.
We're gonna.
Mike wants
so,
to take control.
Yeah, there's a
He's a bit of a control freak.
It's not a spoiler alert, but you need to see
You
this.
showed me the spoiler when you said it's not a spoiler alert. I haven't seen it yet.
I said it's kind of a spoiler alert, didn't I?
Actually, I have seen this
Okay.
picture, so
Ma-
I know what to expect. But
Max.
I'm going to act like I haven't seen it.
Okay, Max.
You ready?
Hit me with the zoom. Enhance.
Oh yeah, I need to have
Enhance.
dramatic
Zoom in on
music.
that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What are you looking at, Derek Weldon?
That is a 1UZ V8 engine that comes out of the Toyota Celsior.
Not just any old one you said.
It has throttle bodies, 8 of them.
8.
8
Oh,
throttle
yeah.
bodies. No air filters on it. by
No
the
air
way.
filters.
And a completely shaved engine bay.
That's right.
That's what I'm looking at. And it is incredibly clean. This is absolutely show car quality. The shaved engine room, fantastic.
Yeah.
They've also added structure to it. See that in the corners?
Right. So now, instead of having a strut tower brace, and I don't know completely how this works.
And
it
these,
looks like
these are, I'm pointing to a screen and nobody knows what I'm pointing to. These ones here.
Yeah. Oh, that would be nice if. You can use the mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You can use the mouse pointer.
These are also not factory. And so the front end has, and this.
Yeah, this is a level of customization that I
Sell
don't
me on
fully
it.
know
I'm not.
about.
I'm selling myself on this car.
That's
I'm
my
glad that
strategy.
there's a table here blocking my lower section.
Right, because otherwise this table would be lifting. Anyway, so
It's a very
the main-
heavy table.
Right, it's a full custom car, as you can see. It
With
was entered in a
A
show.
1UZ V8.
I know you do. And look, you could have it for the low price of 10.8 million yen. You know what? We could even probably get you a little bit of a discount on this. Usually dealers don't give much discount, but I think there's room to wiggle on the price like this.
I think the price is completely reasonable for what you're looking at. I will say one thing that worries me a lot. The shaved engine room, shaved your brake master cylinder. I mean, the master cylinder still exists,
Right.
but probably the brake booster has nowhere to go. And so they've converted it over to manual brakes, which I don't think, I like manual brakes. I usually don't like manual brakes if you're just shaving the booster, because the car should be set up for manual brakes before you shave it. Every car I've driven that had the booster delete, if they didn't set it up with like the air pump or something from like the Soarer or the Celsior have these air pump actuated boosters instead of
Right.
vacuum operated ones, they're sketchy. And you've got the engine here
Don't worry
that
about
is much heavier than the 8.6's original engine.
No,
So
see,
bad brakes and big engine.
Hang on.
It's probably a car that was built for show instead of actually being drivable. And it is
Well-
very, very, very important to me that any car that I drive be fun to drive. Because I would be so
True.
sad if something that is as beautiful as this wasn't something that I could enjoy on a daily basis without feeling inconvenience.
Mike, can you show the ITBs again?
Yeah.
I know what you're trying to
I
do.
understand what you're saying,
Oh,
but
my.
have you considered individual throttle bodies?
Oh,
Yeah.
and so of all the engines to put ITBs on, I think the 1UZ is my favorite too. I love the idea of ITBs on a V8 because it gives it a very distinct sound.
Yeah.
Your hair got a little bit erect.
Well, if only that was the only thing.
Interesting choice of words. What else can we see here?
Now I need to give you a little bit. How about?
Oh,
how
the
about
door
here?
cards are custom.
You click through a little bit. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to race through this as fast as I can. So the company that made this car is Inazuma Works. They
Oh, it's
are
so
a very
beautiful.
famous AE86 builder, and
Look at that dashboard.
Akita-san is well known for his master craftsmanship and his attention to detail. And you're currently seeing his attention to detail.
What's
and his
this? I
master.
can't see very
That's a fire extinguisher. They actually shaved it off so that it wasn't red and ruined the color scheme that they were going for, which I think is pretty sweet.
But the mount for it is integrated into the frame or the
Right.
cage.
I thought it could have been something to do with like, I don't know if it was like suspension for a frame. I've never seen that before, but I believe it's just a fire extinguisher mount.
Oh, pedal box is hinged at the bottom.
Custom pedal box, yeah. Now, this exact vehicle.
And the AIM gauge set that we have bought for our race car, but haven't installed it yet.
Oh, spoiler alert.
That's a future video, but far in the future.
Yes, but very cool. Now, can you go find a picture of the wheels?
Yes, sir.
I think you'll like
just
this.
the wheel?
Just the wheels.
Okay.
Oh, actually, that's a perfect
TE37Vs.
I heard you like TE37Vs.
I have a set of them that I don't know what to do with because they don't fit any car that I have, but I bought them because they're pretty.
Oh, guys.
And
someone commented there's an article on this specific car.
There is, and that's what I was going to mention. Thank you, Logan. There's an article
Hi,
on
Logan.
Speed Hunters, and the article is about when this car was entered into a WECFest in 2021, just after COVID. It was the first WECFest.
So it wasn't built too long ago, which means it's still probably in good shape. A lot of problems with very modified cars like this. This one's probably the exception because I'm sure it was built by a very good builder. But a lot of modified cars just don't hold together at the same rate as a brand new car built by Toyota because aftermarket parts just don't stand the test of time.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single area of this car that he didn't touch. This seems like
this is so
as
good.
complete of a build as you could hope
I
for.
think this price is maybe even a little undervalued.
I do too.
If you got all these modifications done on the car, you would spend over $100,000 on it.
Right. We'll go into that in a second though, because when this car was at WECFest? I don't know how to say
WECFest.
it. WECFest.
Yeah.
WECFest? It was at WECFest. It won the award for Best Toyota and Best Engineered Vehicle.
Wow.
So exactly like what you're saying, a lot of these builds are built for show, but this one is built for go.
Yeah,
Maybe not for
the
stop.
center stack on the console is all custom. The dashboard is custom. The full dashboard is custom.
I don't know a lot about Akita-san and Inazuma Works, but
it is
I believe
good.
He's
oh my
renowned
God.
for his fabrication. So
I do wonder if they actually did fix the brakes properly.
I think they must have. I
Where
would
are you
hope
gonna
so,
put
but
that? If you shaved all of your engine room,
well,
you have to find a
hid
place
things,
to put stuff. But the 8.6 doesn't have places to put stuff.
Well, he's
It's a
made
tiny little
places.
car.
The 8.6 didn't have place to put a 1UZ, but he didn't. That didn't stop him.
One
He
UZ
knows?
is fairly compact, and it is an aluminum block, so it's not going to be too heavy as far as V8s go.
Oh, about the weight
I
thing.
think it's aluminum block.
It's missing a whole bunch of like interior parts. That's your weight. He took the interior weight. He was like engine.
Oh, I love it, and I'm so glad you showed that to me. I'll buy it.
Okay.
but actually not for real because
I
don't
know
have
we're
that much kind of
close
money.
on price, but I need to give you some guy math.
Yeah,
So to buy a really nice 8.6,
yeah,
it's going to cost you 2.5 to 3 million yen anyway.
more than that.
Right. It's like this one only has 54,000 kilometers. We don't know the exact mileage because it's got an engine swap, and that's probably the mileage on the engine. But it's not too much more. I mean, buying a 1UZ and an ITB kit, that's probably like a million yen or more.
The 1UZ is the cheap part. The putting it into the car is the expensive part.
Right. I mean, your ITB kit is probably at least 500,000 yen.
More.
And then
Plus
that's
install,
not right.
plus
That's not even
tuning.
including labor. So actually, this car is probably saving you money. It's better to
I
buy
getcha.
this than your groceries this week or for the next year or 10.
Yeah, it is fantastic. This was such a good find, and we'd like to thank Grant for finding this one.
Grant did find this one.
Yeah, I'd like to remind everybody that Grant was over the moon when we told him that you can now get paid for just browsing cars.
He's laughing.
You can.
Because he did it anyway.
Don't call Grant. He's busy finding cars for the next live stream to
love
impress everyone.
Oh, look at the
And it's
custom
working.
exhaust header in order to fit between the chassis rails.
Yeah.
We can't spend too much more time on this one.
It's
I
a
love
work
it.
of art.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, very cool.
Zaid commented, can we forward non-USS auction lot cars?
Can we what?
Forward. So I guess rather go into the USS stuff than the dealer stuff.
Zaid, I think that's a good idea for next week. If you have something, if you come across something at auction that you want us to share, we obviously can't share USS photos. It's against their rules. But if you find a non-USS auction, send it to us, and you'd have to send it to us pretty early for us to be able to receive it and then do it on the show at this time next week. But yeah, that could
Can I
be
use the
something
mouse?
fun.
Yeah,
For a
you
sec.
can use the mouse.
We have. I can't
Wait,
find where it is.
It's on my screen.
All right.
There you go.
Just quickly, we had picked out some auction picks for this week. And so we usually want to do some dealer cars and then auction cars. Auction cars, of course, will be much cheaper. I'm going to go through these really quickly. This one here is an Isuzu Piazza. The reason why it was picked is because you can't find them in good condition anywhere in the world, and this one's in fantastic condition. 121,000 kilometers, automatic transmission, 1.9 liter 4-cylinder engine. Here's the auction sheet. This is what we do. We sell cars from auction. I think most of our viewers know that, but some people are going to find us without knowing that. That's one car that you could buy this week. Woo! Next one.
What is
awesome.
that?
It's a Mitsuoka MC1. It's a 50cc car, so you can...
So it's a scooter.
Basically,
with 4 wheels.
Basically a scooter with signals, so it's street legal here in Japan. You don't actually have to be an old enough age to drive this, because you only have to be 15? I think 15 years old in Japan to drive one of the 50cc's.
This is kind of like the Mario Karts, where they fall into that weird kind of exception where you're allowed to drive them on the road, even though they look like it looks like a golf cart.
Yeah.
It looks less useful than a go-kart.
Hey,
it would be an incredibly cool car to buy just to dick around with.
Imagine a
Right?
bucket seat in there. Wouldn't that look so fun?
I'd put a spoiler on the
I was
roof,
gonna
but only this wide.
Yeah.
Cut down a full-size spoiler. Okay, so that's all the auction picks and the dealer picks. So we're going to go to the next segment. Sexy voice Mike. What are we what's the next segment?
The next segment? The next segment is what you've all been waiting for. It's Q&A.
That was so cool.
Did it? Oh, good. I'm so glad that sounded cool.
And we didn't pick Q&A questions for you. We didn't ask you guys ahead of time for the Q&A questions because we were a little bit rushed. Yesterday was a holiday here in Japan, so Max wasn't working that day. And we just had a ton of stuff to do anyway. So sorry about that, but we do have some questions in the chat. If you want to add your question now and have it answered, please write it in the chat. And Max is going to be scanning that, looking for good questions and feeding them to us. So what do we...
I believe Max already does have some questions for us, maybe?
Do you want me to read them out, or do you want to read them with your eagle eyes on the screen?
Let's alternate. You go read us the first question.
Okay.
I like when you ask me questions, Max.
There you go.
Okay. First one, that was even before the stream started.
Perfect.
EF7 and PP1 and a PP1. Colin was his name, right?
Yeah.
Would you
You're doxing Colin now.
Sorry, Colin.
Oh, sorry.
Colin's awesome. Don't dox him. He's cool.
He's visited us in Japan and drove with my Lotus. It was cool.
Would you guys consider a buy 4 cars, get a fifth at half a service fee policy?
I think Colin's bought 4 cars so far from us.
So he's
I
looking.
I think that's why he's asking that.
I understand. I see that wink face there, Colin. Makes sense. I can answer this question. It's a little bit differently. We don't do half price service fees because then we would effectively be paying for your car. Our service fee is not all profit. There's a lot of costs incorporated in there. And I know this question is a joke, but or is it? I don't know. Once you buy 5 cars with us within a 12-month period, you're considered a dealer, and then you do get a discount on your service fee, and your service fee discount can increase higher than that. Depending on how many cars you buy and how good you are at buying cars. Pretty much the easier it is for us to help you buy your cars, the lower your service fee is. We work with dealers all the way down from people who are buying 5 cars a year or a little bit more than that, all the way up to people who are buying hundreds or over 100 cars a year. So we have a scaling service fee. So there are options for discounts if you're a volume purchaser.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
We don't do half price though. We would effectively be paying.
We would be going out of business if everybody on their 5th car got half price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question from Bender Bending Rodriguez.
Okay.
All right. That name sounds familiar.
Which is the rarest car you have ever seen in Japan?
Oh, I've seen a Z-Tune driving on the street. That's one of 19.
Whoa. No, that's one of less than that.
Look it up.
No, maybe you're right. Is it 1 of 19? Yeah, it's probably around that. Wow, a Z-Tune.
How
did you know it was real?
So that was easy. The car was driving right outside. It drove from the Nissan Omori factory onto the street. And the Nissan Omori factory, if you guys don't know, is a Yokohama Nismo Omori factory, pardon me. It's where they built all of them originally. So while I didn't go up to the car and go, "Hey, is this real?" I figured that it was beautiful and it was exactly perfect to what the Z-Tunes look like. and it was coming out of that factory. So I'm just assuming. So maybe it isn't, but
Wow.
I figured that if you are the Omori factory and someone brought you a car to modify or tune or repair, which you can do there, and it looked like a Z-Tune, they'd be like, get out of here. We make the Z-Tunes.
Maybe.
You can't bring a
Yeah.
replica to me.
But you can buy all the Z-Tune parts. I don't know. You
Yeah.
could get it repainted too.
I think the Z-Tune parts alone would be so expensive
They
and
are.
limited.
Yeah. I think the fenders are like over $1 million yen.
Can we show?
Each?
Can we show a Z-Tune?
I think.
It's yeah. You look that up. It's an R34 that Nismo bought a whole bunch of these several years after they stopped production of them. I think it was in 2002.
3.
I don't know. It was only a
Later
few
than
years after, like 4 or 5 years after. So they bought a bunch of them back, modified them to have, I believe, somewhere around 400 or 450 horsepower or so, and
S2
put on an
engine, I
aero
think.
kit on them, including fenders. Usually one of the things people
Yeah.
look for are those little triangular vents in the
Yeah.
front fenders. They have a different hood, different front bumper. I don't know an awful lot about them, but I believe that the engines are maybe a 2.8 kit. And turbos have been upgraded in order to be steel turbos so that they're more reliable for the 400 horsepower. And they didn't make very many. Did you find out how many they made?
Nope.
I think you could
I
be
think
right.
it's
It's like
19.
17 or 19 or something. I remember one sold for, I think it was like 8 or 9 years ago. One sold
Okay.
in Hong Kong, and it was
20.
$500,000. And that
That's
back
not,
then,
that's not bad.
well, that back
'Cause
then
there
I
are
was like, holy cow!
GTRs that aren't
Right.
Z-Tunes now.
So now I would hate to think how much these are worth, but goodness.
My Lotus is one of 12.
So wait a second. Every time you drive your Lotus, it's technically rarer
Yeah.
than a Z-Tune.
Right. Yeah. But Lotus does this.
Right.
They're like,
Sneaky
and this
Lotus.
next special model is one of 25 different special models, and each one is only 10. And so when you say it's one of 10, it's not actually as uncommon as to see on the road as something like this.
I think the rarest car I've ever seen is probably an F40. It doesn't. I said
We've
that
seen one on the
casually,
street.
but right.
Both of us were in the car.
Yeah. The first one I saw was when I was here on holiday, and my friends and I were just walking down a road, and we heard the sound, and we were like, "Whoa, what is that? That sounds amazing!" We turned around, it was a Ferrari F40, and coming from New Zealand, I don't even know if there are any Ferrari F40s in New Zealand. There might be one, maybe two. I don't even think so. That was mind-blowing for me. I could not believe someone both owned an F40 and they were just driving it in
sounds
a
so
street in
good.
Japan. Yeah. That was an erection day.
What's the next question, Max? We'll probably go a little bit extra because we've only answered 2 questions, and it would be mean to people.
Yeah,
I just want to say I saw an original race car Ford GT
Whoa.
at Daikoku.
Oh, man.
Really? The road
Wait.
car versions of those are really rare, but they did make them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was one of those.
And
Like a
the
70s
blue
version
and
of it.
orange, the livery.
White and
everything.
blue.
Do you happen to know which generation that it was? Was it the one with the 4 headlights?
No, it was with the single one, I guess.
Like the rectangular headlights? Oh, so cool. I haven't
That's
seen
cool.
that. That's very rare. Good find.
Okay, next one. Colin is asking again. Do any of the auction companies have public access? As in, can a tourist just walk off of the street
No.
and look at the cars?
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And it's hard even for companies here in Japan to get full auction licenses because you need to have a guarantor for that. And if you're buying enough cars, you need 2 guarantors. Actually, USS requires 2 guarantors or 1 guarantor that is either a doctor or a lawyer or a
Yeah.
politician or some sort of really high-end
the
job.
bureaucracy. It's
Yeah, it's
difficult.
weird.
Next
Uh,
question.
Next one.
Sorry, but yeah, no auction access.
You cannot sneak into USS Tokyo through the back lot. You
Well,
you
can,
will
but if you
ruin it
get
for
caught,
all of us.
Yeah.
I
big
know some
trouble.
people have tried to do that.
Yeah.
Don't do
Okay.
it.
How much money do I need to save to get a decent condition JA22 chimney? Is that something you can just answer right away, or is it difficult?
No,
What
it's,
country? We don't know
We don't know.
because that's some of the cost is the shipping to that country.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for prices on things, it's better to email us and we can give you a better idea. Because there are many factors like what mileage do you want, where do you live,
And
what
some
are the
things we'd have to
rules
check up the price by doing a little bit of research anyway.
Right.
So off of the top of your head, it can be difficult. I'd say like just the purchasing price for one of those. If you want a really good one, you're looking at $4,000.
Yeah.
They can be more expensive than that, but that would be a really good one. You can get cheaper for sure, But that's something to consider.
Can I read a question? It's kind of on the rare question. Well, I'll read this one while you find the next one.
I've got a question. I'm going to not answer this one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So this is going to be perfect for whoever asked this.
Yeah.
Derek and Mike, what are your holy grail cars?
That was what I was going to say. I think that's a cool question.
I have officially bought all of my holy grail cars now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. The channel has not seen them, but my 2 top cars in the world I currently own. I'm not going to say what they are, though, because you're going to have to like and subscribe and set notifications on.
Yeah.
Not on this channel, on our second channel, which is even more interesting and has currently 960 subscribers, but our last video only got 351 views.
Go watch it. Oh, no.
Go subscribe to that channel. Drives Japan.
Oh, wait.
Say it in the sexy voice.
No, you say it in the sexy voice.
Wait. Go ahead.
Drives Japan.
That was good. That was really good. I felt like you were trying to do a Japanese accent.
You sounded authentic when you said that. That sounds good. So I'm no longer going to trust anything that you say.
Oops.
So I'm not going to say. You're going to see a video pretty soon of one of those 2, and within the end of the year, the second one of those 2, because I've bought them both. One of them came up at auction. I was like, I don't need a car, but I can't go without buying this car. It just happened to me.
Yeah. My holy grail car is a Ferrari F50. That is the one car that I have loved since I was a child. I don't think I'll ever own one. I would love to see one. I would love to sit in one. I've seen one at a dealership, but I just kind of drooled through the window. But I think right now a more attainable dream car for me is something with an LS3 supercharged.
Corvette
Would be ideal. But ownership cost in Japan is frightfully expensive.
But worth it.
I need that V8 American muscle in my life. And then I'll be like, can you teach me how to drift? Anyway,
not me. I don't know how to drift.
Yeah.
We are the only Japanese car YouTubers that aren't chasing the drift views.
But we could.
If we knew how to drift.
In one of your cars.
And if you had a Corvette. What's the next question, Max?
What is, it's from DW, the most popular export you are seeing? And what almost US legal cars would you see appreciating the most in value?
So in terms of cars that we export the most, I'd say it's probably Land Cruisers, including the Prado. If you add the 80 series, 100 series, and the Prado 95, those are a lot of what we export. We used to do a ton of Delicas. That's fallen off a bit.
Yeah.
Land Cruisers is great.
Still
Fantastic
lots
cars.
of K-Trucks. K-Trucks are very, very popular, but that's because they're so cheap. And I think when people are pinched and they want something fun or they want to just enjoy importing a car, K-Truck's nice.
What's a car that's going to appreciate? Last week we said the NC Miata.
Yeah.
So that's probably a good answer to this question.
I think we're a while off from seeing that, though. I think they need to be forgotten about for a while, and then people forget that they're like, oh, nobody likes Miatas.
It'll happen in 5 years.
Oh, wait, they're actually awesome.
Yeah.
We forgot again.
I will counter this question and say that right now we're not going to see a lot of cars raise in price in the next little while. And the reason for that is because we saw cars triple in price over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see a little bit of a lull in that. COVID boosted asset prices of everything. People put money into cars, and then there was the chip shortage preventing people from buying new cars.
Yeah.
So they had to buy used cars, so the prices of used cars went up.
Right.
Now we're at a plateau, and we've seen some prices of cars go down a little bit. While there are probably some cars that are increasing in price, you have an idea, Max?
Altezza.
I was going to say the Altezza, and then I thought that would
anything
be
that's not
pandering.
25 years old yet will probably increase in price, but not nearly as much as the 90s JDM cars, because now you can import all of them to the US.
Yeah, the
DW
90s are done.
answered. He imported 5 Land Cruisers with us.
And now I know who that is.
Okay.
Yeah. And he also is a fantastic guy and has 2 kids on the way.
He's also a subscriber to Drives Japan.
How do you know that?
I don't know. I just guessed. Because you said he's a good guy.
Oh, got it. Oh, he must be then. Absolutely, for sure.
Do we have any more questions, Max? Or are we winding this down?
We do have some. I'm just scrolling through.
Have we exported motorcycles?
Yeah.
We have exported 2 motorcycles before, and both of them were motocompos, which is the little trunk foldable motorcycle. We tell people we can't do motorcycles, and there's a good reason for that. And Mike knows the good reason for that because he doesn't want to do it.
Well, yeah, so it's not something that we do often, therefore we don't have good processes to handle it. The motorcycles have to be shipped in a container. That means either you're filling a container of motorcycles yourself, so you're buying,
40.
I don't know, 10 to 20 motorcycles if they're
40.
full size. 40 motorcycles
40
if they're
foot.
small. Yeah. Like, 40 foot. I was thinking of 20 because 40 is a lot of motorcycles to buy.
20
I do
will fit in a
support
20
that
foot.
decision, though, if you're looking to buy 40 motorcycles. I think you're on the right track to life. But, yeah, so you have to load it in a container. If you don't fill your own container, then you're subject to all of the rules with LCL, which means your bike or bikes will be loaded in a container with a whole bunch of other things. That could be loaded with highly flammable things. Probably not, because that'd be a dangerous good. But anyway,
it's not allowed to.
Right.
You can't mix and match.
Well, you can.
Highly flammable. So
I mean,
the bike has oil inside. You have
Okay.
to drain all of the oil and the brake fluid,
right. That's what I was getting
and
to.
then you have to
Yeah.
you have to certify that. You have to have a company certify that there's no
Right.
oil in it anymore.
Yeah. You have
And-
to purge the system of everything so that it's safe, effectively, and then you have to have a company sign off that it is safe. So very expensive,
And deregistration takes 2 trips to the registration office because there's a more difficult process to it.
yeah,
And if we're going to the registration office for cars, we've got 40 or 50 cars that we're deregistering at the same time for that one trip. Whereas with motorcycles, if we buy one, we're going to the registration office twice for a single motorcycle, meaning we're not going to be profitable unless we're selling enough to fill that 20-foot container. And so
Yeah.
when people ask us, we just outright say, you want to do a container of 20 motorcycles? If the answer is no, we can't really help you.
yeah,
And honestly, if somebody wanted to do a 20-foot container of motorcycles right now, that'd be a difficult pull.
yeah.
There is a lot of stuff to set up to make sure that you do the business cleanly. And we have great systems for the cars. For motorcycles, we don't have systems for it yet. And so it would be a stumbling process, which takes a lot more of our time. And we'd rather put that time into other things
Yeah.
that are better for our company.
Yeah.
Yeah, great question, because we get that asked a lot in emails.
Yeah. I will say it's also much more difficult to buy motorcycles than it is to buy cars. There's 100,000 cars a week. There's, I don't know. I don't even know if there's 10,000 motorcycles a week.
But there are unique motorcycles you can only get here.
That's true. And they're a lot cheaper, so you could get a larger number.
Okay, speed run. A couple of last questions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sean Griffith is asking, can you row ship an MC1? The MC1 is the Mitsuoka guy that we looked at at auction.
Do you know the answer, Mike?
I don't see why not.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was an easy question.
You might be subject to minimum shipping charges.
Yeah.
It depends on where you are, but
Great point.
Because it's so small, the shipping company, like, it also takes the shipping company time and effort to do this thing too. So a lot of the times they're like, the minimum cost that we will charge you for one car is X amount. So might work. I know that's happened for Honda Beat. We got
and Cappuccino and AZ ones.
right.
Depending on the port. Some
Yeah.
of them do it, some of them don't.
So you won't pay the M3 rate, which you would usually do for a normal car. You would pay a higher amount. Maybe. Depends on where you are in the world and the shipping regulations.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, Daniel Matthewson. He just asked the question again, but can you help with import non-road legal vehicles like constructions equipment?
Which country? So
It falls into the same thing as the motorcycles, I feel, where we don't have good systems to...
you can row a lot of equipment, like if you wanted to buy a tractor or something like that.
Yeah.
If it's outside of what we normally do, the buck has to stop with you. So if you would have to do the research to see if that's something that is legally importable to your country and to your state potentially. And as long as it is, and it's something we can ship by row, like, for example, that Mitsuoka that we found.
Yeah.
Certainly we could set it up, but we would have to have a talk with you, like, this is outside of what we normally do, and while we think that we can do it, there might be a surprise that we didn't know about, and you'd have to be okay with paying for that before.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you needed to drain the oil of it
Yeah.
or something. There are some very tricky things. We shipped a broadcast vehicle not
Yeah.
too long ago, And this required the removal of any broadcast equipment, which you can't just remove because it's
400 kilo antenna or something,
right,
with hydraulic systems.
Yeah.
And
you have to remove all of the wires and the receivers and everything inside. So
Yeah.
there are circumstances that we will outright say no, but if we think that we can do it and we know the type of vehicle, like you show us an auction listing for it and you're like, can you get this? We'll be able to answer that.
Yeah. For construction equipment as well, the ro-ro means roll on, roll off. So really anything with wheels can be shipped ro-ro if it operates under its own power. The vessels they have height adjustable floors, and they'll adjust them for the general size of the vehicle. So if you have something outside the general size, if it's too big, like too tall, too wide, oddly shaped, if it's an excavator or something like that, it has to go in a special part of the vessel. And they don't have an unlimited number of those spaces. So you're competing for space in an area which is also got high competition because there's low supply. So could take longer to ship.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, I guess last question.
Ooh, last question.
Is it possible to visit or meet the team while on vacation in Japan?
Yes, you can.
You can come on a live stream day, actually, and you can be part of the live stream. And we have unlimited space for that, too. We'll just have everyone standing behind us. You're not allowed to talk. You just have to stand there silently. And you can come and do that.
We could, you know those radio shows that they do live and there's people in the windows and they're like holding up signs and stuff? Yeah. We could do that. I actually saw a place like that in Tokyo. I was just walking around to get pizza and I saw this random radio show like live recording and I kind of wanted to stand there. Yeah, that's where I saw it. Yeah. It was really weird.
To answer the question, if you're coming to Japan and you want to meet us, that's perfectly fine. You can come by the office and we can have a little meeting with you. We have to not spend too much time on that, because if we open the doors to everybody and we have an awful lot of work to do at that time, then this can be difficult for us to fit into the schedule, because it does take us away from the regular job that we have to be doing. Like, I think it is interesting to come and meet us, but at the same time, like, would we be able to come to your work and meet you during your work hours and whatnot? For us, it is a little bit different because we're potentially like, meeting a customer, doing a sale potentially, like if you are interested in buying in the future. But some of the customers that have been with us for a long time came to meet us before they ever bought anything, even without the intent of buying. They just said, hey, I'm in Japan and I love your company. Can I come and meet you? And we're like, oh, your schedule fits with ours. You can come and meet us. Yeah. But we can't be like 2 hours or something like that.
Right. Yeah. We're doing work and we're trying to help people buy cars, and we have time restraints on certain things, and we are very busy most of the time. So we'll do our best.
Right. Good question. That is the final question. So we're going to wrap up the live stream now. Hope you enjoyed this. This is, we're 13 minutes over this time, which is not too bad. Last time we went over by a 15.
I think half an hour. Yeah.
Half an hour last time. So if you liked this, make sure that you subscribe. You're probably already subscribers, but if you like this video, make sure that you subscribe. You check out our other channel, Drives Japan. It is hurting for subscribers because it only has 960.
You can be,
I think,
one of the first 1,000 subscribers on Drives Japan.
That's right.
Maybe there'll be something special for the first 1,000 subscribers. I don't know. It's a possibility.
Wait a
thumbs
second,
up.
Mike.
Did anybody subscribe while we were live? I would love to see that.
Okay. I would too. And I will say, if you have burning questions that you would like answered on the Cool JDM show, you can send those in. Where can they send those in, Max? You can send them in. I just don't know where.
Send them somewhere and you might get noticed.
Yeah. We usually
send them to Mike personally. m.dennis, DENNESS at pacificcoastjdm.com.
Yep.
He's agreed to take those questions and sort them and organize them.
Logan said he's going to come to Japan and teach us drifting. I think that'd be fun. We have talked about this as a video idea.
And Logan's offered it a few times. Yeah. 961 subscribers. So we got one subscriber, so thank you. If you were the subscriber that subscribed, please let us know in the comments right now that was you. We're going to always cherish the fact that you actually listened to us. Because
and Derek will give you a free car because you listened to him.
I will give you a lock of my hair. Braided.
Would anyone be interested in buying a lock of Derek's hair?
I don't know. So
it was better when you had long hair. It would have been more luscious. This is getting onto a weird tangent.
I put it as a topic. Derek cuts his hair because I thought people were going to be like, because it happens a lot. Wow,
Yeah.
Derek cut his hair, or Derek's hair is long. For some
Yeah.
reason, it's been an ongoing topic. And so before I got it cut, it was like below my shoulders. I asked my daughter to braid my hair and then to snip it off, and then I could bring it in as a memento. But then I started thinking, that's really a weird thing to do, and I don't think anyone would enjoy it, nonetheless, on our first ever live stream.
Yeah, but on our third live stream next week, that might be a perfectly fine thing to do.
I do have
Maybe.
a braided lock of hair, and my wife was like, what are you going to do with this? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really want to throw it out.
Rodney said very weird pass. So I
He was
assume
the
that's
same
going to
guy
be...
who also said too much information, isn't it?
You're kind of disturbing Rodney here.
Oh, Rodney said that was him that subbed to Drives Japan.
Yeah.
But
So
also-
he's getting the lock, but he doesn't want it. So,
Yeah, but he
sorry,
can't,
Rodney.
he can't go back now.
Yeah, you're getting a lock of hair. But yes, send in our questions that you might have that you want answered here, or if you find cool cars that you'd like us to see, we will submit something before the next live stream that says, please send questions, and you can do that there.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
This live stream will go up as a video, so people can comment on the video.
It's true. We do
To ask
check
the
the
question.
comments.
Yeah.
So you could do that,
That is
too.
true. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we are going out now.
Back to work. Over.